farts and methane, justice for the beer industry, Earth's layers of atmospheres, eye for an eye, Vulcan neck pinches, and much, much more. Stay tuned. Welcome to Theoretical Nonsense, the Big Bang Theory watch-along podcast. No PhD required.
We're the podcast that recaps all the episodes of The Big Bang Theory. No spoilers.
So hop into your favorite spot,
Make yourself a grasshopper,
and enjoy the ride. Hello there, Ryan.
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
Amazing, because I'm ready to talk season 4 finale.
It's the end of the season. This is, shit goes down.
Such a great episode. The roommate Transmogrification.
Yeah.
This was so fun. I've watched it so many times. Such a great episode. So many great IQ points. I even have a couple failed IQ points, but it was still really fun. It was still really fun to look into those ones. So this is a great one. And they weren't
super complex. They were just understandable. I'm like, this is fun to learn about and understand. So it wasn't science equations that were theoretical physics that were really time intense and confusing. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, I enjoyed all this research. This was great.
This would definitely be a go-to episode if I was going to recommend the show. Or go back for a comfort episode. It's just straight up good character actions. The way, it's great. I loved it.
Well, before we get started, everyone out there, don't forget to send us an email at theoreticalnonsensepod@gmail.com. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Don't forget we're on YouTube as well, so like and subscribe. And we got a new email.
And this one's specifically to me from John, titled Whatchamacallit. Hi, Ryan. I'm way behind on the podcast, but I just got to season 4, episode 11, where you said you liked Whatchamacallit. I've gathered while listening you live near my area, so FYI, I've been able to reliably find them at the Winco in Everett. I usually find them by the self-checkout. Really enjoy the pod. Cheers, John. Thank you, John. I sent an email and mentioned that we're going to mention you, so there it is. And I mentioned in the email, I was talking to Rob, too, that I've never been in a Winco. And if you don't live in Washington, you might not know, but they're employee-owned, right?
I'm actually not sure what the background is, but I did grow up going to it with my dad, so I do remember, have a very
They've been around for a while.
Yeah.
We talked about how before that starting today, we talked that they only take cash or debit, and knowing that has always intimidated me. I'm I'm scared. I know I have the cash. I know I have it. I can't say I don't always carry my debit card on me. I've always heard these scary stories of don't carry your debit card because if you do, somebody can steal your soul if they steal your wallet. All the identity theft shit.
Definitely how that works.
Right. Straight debit card straight to the soul. No, not my debit card. And I wither up and die. That's so I've always been kind of scared to go to a Winco, but I've heard good things and I might have to stop by. I also think it's amazing that I read this and I was I need to talk to Rob because this must be one of Rob's friends. Because why would somebody be listening to us in the Everett area, right? And Rob's I assume they knew you, Ryan. So it's really cool to know that we have a local fan. And we've had emails from people all around the world. So keep sending in your emails. I love reading them and glad we're doing the podcast and that you're enjoying it.
Yeah, shout out to Everett.
Everett. I just learned too, Everett, I didn't know about it until I moved here, but two things that have come up that kind of creep me out, I guess. It's not great things about Everett, but one, if you ever have heard, it was a TV show for one season, but it was a book series, a trilogy called The Passage. And it's a TV series, book series. I read them all. The first one is not the best horror novel I've ever read, but it is probably top 10. It is superb. And the second two are eh. But the government is testing vampire curing diseases on terminal prisoners, basically prisoners who are going to die anyways or on death's row. And one of them is like a serial killer from Everett. And I'm like, oh shit. So that's one way I know about Everett out in the real world or outside. Yeah. The other one is apparently, you remember that submersible, I should say, not submarine, submersible that went down to see the Titanic and it collapsed on itself, killing a bunch of billionaires, millionaires.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Ocean Gate? Is that what it was? Ocean Gate? Something like that.
We've talked about this on the podcast before.
Did we? And that it was built in Everett?
Oh, I don't remember that part.
I just heard about this a few weeks ago, but apparently the submersible was built in Everett. So I'm like, they were building that thing, and I was interning at a brewery that summer. I'm like, they were probably building it like next door to where I was working. So anyways, love Everett, come to Everett, but the popular media.
There must be some other good things about it besides those two.
Just don't ride any submersibles from Everett, I suppose. I don't know. What's the moral here?
Oh, that's right. We talked about this where Raj wanted to take pretty girls on submarine rides.
Yes.
That's what it was, yeah.
I'm not sure if I shared that bit of information, but that thing was from Everett, apparently. There was a documentary on Netflix, I think it was, that talked about it. And they have some B-roll, some footage of the city. I'm like, I've been there. Wow, Everett. So, shout out. All right, so thank you again, and yeah.
All right. I think we can just get started with the episode then.
Yep.
All right. It is season 4, episode 24, The Roommate Transmogrification. Aired May 19th, 2011. Written by Chuck Lorre, Bill Prady, and teleplay by Eric Kaplan. Directed by Mark Sandrowski. So we have our opening scene. We're at the Cheesecake Factory, and everyone's sitting down, and Penny is going to take their order. And it seems like she's on much better terms with Priya now, probably because of the events that happened in the previous episode. Penny starts to take Priya's order, and Priya suggests splitting the shepherd's pie with Leonard. But then Penny chimes in, because she knows Leonard really well, at least his lactose intolerance, that because of his dietary restrictions, it's not a good idea. And then they all kind of just start making jokes about Leonard, all kind of just cheap fart jokes, but you know what? It was fun. It was cheap, but it was fun.
He's in on it, and I think I would rather have people laughing at me about something like that than actually mad at me, or like it's a health problem, and to joke about it a little bit makes it a little bit easier. I think you're right.
Yeah. But the best part about all this is that Sheldon starts dropping facts, and they all laugh like he's making jokes, and he doesn't have a clue what's going on, but he's loving it.
I'm going to give myself, I'm not sure if I always love it, but a point for being like Sheldon. Sometimes I say things and everyone laughs. I'm not always sure why. So
we're actually laughing at you, Ryan. It's not funny.
I'm afraid that might be the case. But I laugh with them.
A pity thing where it's like, oh, there, Ryan.
Or awkward, like, oh, ha ha ha.
Well, Sheldon says that the Macy's Day balloons are filled with helium, whereas Leonard produces copious amount of methane. And then a little while later, he says that Leonard dying wouldn't help because the human body is capable of being flatulent for hours after death. So this is the first IQ point.
I'm curious what you got, because I counted this as a failed IQ point on my part. What I kind of came across was that it happens, and I've known this.
Which part? The flatulence part? Because I just combined all this into one IQ point, just because it was all part of the same conversation. So
I was curious of two things. When you die, how long do you keep flatulating? Basically, how long do you keep farting? And this added to something else if hair and nails grow longer. And I did find out that hair and nails, because I was like, how does the human body keep working after you die? And hair and nails, apparently that's an old myth, legend, that they don't grow longer. They just look like it because the skin recedes, which pulls back, which makes it look like the nails have grown longer. Unless I guess you're a vampire, in which case they would. But anyways, that, and also I came across that it just really depends that when you die, everybody, I remember this in a class I took on, I always remember as the art of dying. It wasn't called that, but it was about the actual biology of death for writing and books, and how books and entertainment often like make death look beautiful or really clean, I guess. But the guy who was talking to us, who is an EMT and a paramedic and what else, had done some medical stuff for the military, is like, one thing, everybody shits themselves when they die. It happens, your bowels loosen up and everything comes out. So unless you took a shit like an hour before, you are going to shit your pants when you die. Everybody does. And so I was thinking that it makes sense that everybody, you know, the body will flatulate. Is that a verb? After you die. But the thing is, your body starts to decompose, gases start to build up. So technically, you could keep flatulating until you were completely decomposed. I don't know. So that's why I said it was a failed IQ point on mine. I was looking into just the strictly, at what point are you done farting? And I don't think you ever are.
That's kind of true, but kind of not true. So... And based off the research that I found, the answer is, just like what Sheldon said, yes, the human body can still fart after death. It is a very short amount of time. It's 2 to 3 hours. So what stops it is rigor mortis. So basically, as your body tightens up and seizes and everything like that, it's kind of game over in terms of flatulence, and I'm using the air quotes. I know you love that.
I love them.
Because it goes into the definition of what flatulence is. Yes. Basically, but if we go back to farts in general, you will continuously release gas for 2 to 3 hours. Once your body tightens up, basically the muscles start like puffing up and all that stuff. So basically gas just can't come out of certain holes. Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of stops it. So it's not really coming out of your butt anymore, but it's coming out of every other hole.
It's coming out of other stuff. But at that point...
And it goes into, it's a little bit of semantics, but it's the definition of what flatulence is. Flatulence is building of gas caused by your stomach and your intestines.
In the bacteria inside and stuff, the ecosystem.
So technically, that's what creates farts, and that's what flatulence is. But then your body starts producing other gases that need to be released in death. And that's just going to make its way out of any hole that's available.
So even if it's after and it's coming out the anus, it's not exactly a fart because it's not being produced by the digestive system.
Correct. So it's a little bit of semantics because you're still releasing the gas. It's still coming out of your butt or whatever hole. It isn't sealed up because of rigor mortis, you know?
Yeah. And then rigor mortis kind of dissipates too after a while, right?
I did not look into that part. Does it?
It's been a while since I've looked into it, but rigor mortis, like, you stiffen up and everything kind of like hardens up. But after, like, I don't know, a few days or something, like, it does loosen up and you become loose again. So
that's when the zombies are born.
Exactly. That's how I know this is. People are like, rigor mortis would keep them from walking, and then, like, technically rigor mortis goes away, so they would be loose again to come back out of the grave.
There it is. We just solved that mystery.
What a fucking great IQ point. Farts, rigor mortis.
Well, the other part of this is the methane. The methane portion of this. So Sheldon did say that, like, leonard produces copious amounts of methane. And the first thing that my mind went to is like, do we produce it or do we always just contain it and then it releases? So that's kind of what sparked this IQ points.
Yeah.
So Sheldon, of course, is correct in this. It was a factual statement that Leonard and most of us do produce copious amounts of methane. But humans don't contain methane. We basically just produce it because of the digestive system and it just releases out. So as we produce it, it's releasing.
And this has always confused me because I've heard that what's the old joke that, and I think there is some science behind it, but it's a joke, is which planet has the most methane?
Uranus,
right? I don't think that's entirely
It's actually
true.
Pronounced Ernest.
Oh, that ruins the joke. Well, coincidentally, I call my anus Uranus.
I call mine Ryan.
Oh, yeah. And Ryan's full of methane.
Yeah.
Like with yeast making beer, like it produces CO2. So I've always been like kind of confused, and this takes a lot more research than this, but we make methane when we eat. I'm guessing we make some CO2 too, but I'm like, I wonder why we don't just fart like straight CO2. I don't know.
Well, actually, I have a part answer
to that. This is great.
So this is the fun fact. Not every person produces methane. Studies have shown that only 30 to 62% of the population produce methane because not everyone's gut microbiome contains the methanogens. So
and this is what Bernadette's studying, right? They kind of poop on her in a little bit, but to say the least.
But she pivoted to premature ejaculation.
She does. I don't know how that works, but
hey, it's whatever they're paying her for.
Yeah, goddamn right it is.
Hey, it's pharmaceutical company. There's a pill for everything.
Show me the money.
Well, more fun facts about methane. Humans emit about 500,000 tons per year. So in comparison, collectively, the Earth's 1.5 billion cows emit 120 million metric tons per year. And that equates to about 2% of climate change. So the amount of methane that humans produce is not nearly as much as cows.
Wait, which part was 2%? Cows were 2%?
The cows produce 2% of the methane.
It's not huge, but it's still just by themselves. That's a good percentage, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But what's a little scary is that there's a theory that sooner or later humans are going to surpass cows as our population keeps growing and growing. And we also have to consider what humans are doing to the environment too. There's a bunch of non-biological activity that we do that produces methane. Extraction of fossil fuels, agriculture, and waste disposal. So it's only a matter of time until we surpass cows.
Number one.
Google gobble. Google gobble.
God.
And that's what we have on farts and methane. You're welcome, everyone.
I feel like this would be a great Halloween episode. It's actually kind of close to Halloween, but it's getting there. I have my Halloween decorations up, so
yeah. This is actually going to air at the beginning of October, so yeah, we're getting into spooky season.
Smooth death and farts. Smooth.
Yep, farts. I'm going to get some methane for Halloween. I just walked down the street and fart. All right. Well, anything else on farts and methane?
I'm kind of surprised we haven't had an IQ point on farts before, but this is a solid IQ point. Yeah. I'm glad you found something because I felt like I should be able to find something, but I'm like, I'm just going to say failed.
Can't believe I found it, and we made it work.
Nice.
All right, if anyone's actually still listening out there, we're moving on. Bernadette enters with great news. She's getting her PhD. So, everyone's a doctor except Howard, and the group begins to mock him. And honestly, I'm very proud of the way that Howard took all the jokes and how he was genuinely happy and proud of Bernadette. He was actually being a very good fiance.
You know, he was just making fun of Leonard for health problems, so I feel like if he wasn't able to take this, but you're right that it doubles down that he is genuinely proud of his fiance.
Yeah.
That she has accomplished something great and noteworthy, and he loves her, so...
Yeah, and he wants to pivot. It's like, hey, this isn't about me. Like, this is about her accomplishment. So
yeah,
he did a really good job of that. Because he's normally not the best partner, but in this moment, he did a really good job.
I'm curious. This episode will go in, but since we've started, do you think you would feel weird if your significant other was the breadwinner and making like?
No, I would love that shit.
Right? Like
I talked to Tina all the time. Like, if we could switch roles and I could be the house husband and like take care of Hunter, I would love to do that.
And I can see some issues coming up. You know, when I was a kid, I know how stifled I felt when I'd get an allowance, and then I also felt like I couldn't spend my allowance how I wanted because I was getting the allowance from somebody who made more money than me, and then like they also judged me for not, like, I wanted to buy a toy, and they're like, toys are like, you need to be saving your money, and like to this day.
Oh, then they start telling you how to use it and everything.
Yeah.
Like that.
And so, like, if I was married to somebody who was giving me an allowance or something, and they were also like judging me.
Well, I think the way that Tina and I have a very different approach with money. She's a stay-at-home mom, but like it's not my money and her money. I don't give her an allowance. If she wants something, we have a conversation about. Of course, same thing goes with me. If I want a big ticket item, I'm not just going to buy it because it's my money.
Yeah.
It's our money. We are a family unit. So the money just goes into a pool. And I know it's very different. Like, honestly, as I talk to more and more people, it feels like we're the weird ones. Because every couple that I talk to, it's like, well, because both people generally work, it's like, well, my money is my money and his money is his money. He pays the mortgage. I pay the groceries and the utilities. He pays for this and that. If that's what works for them, cool.
Money is confusing. If you find a way to make it work, kudos, because it's confusing. I think Kelsey and I are more like you and Tina, that it's our money and we are just happy to get by and have enough. And if it's something big, we talk about it. It's small, you know. My big thing is I do ebook deals. So when books are like 99 cents or $1.99, I get them, and I don't talk to her about that. But
yeah, if it's a small purchase,
but
I'm not going to tell her every time I buy a candy bar.
Rob and I have been talking about bread makers, and I've been talking to Kelsey for a couple months now about like which bread maker should I get, and we've been saving up some money, and that we're going like top notch with it. So it's that's a big purchase that we talk about. But again, if she was making, I guess that's what makes you a healthy partnership, that it's not the money, but how you act about the money, and you work together as a couple, as opposed to somebody acting like, this is my money and this is what you're going to behave to receive it, or how you should behave, I guess. So anyways, I'm with you. I don't think I'd have a problem with it. Although I say that because I've never been in a relationship where it's been completely unequal. And so maybe I would feel weird with what comes up later, that he starts to feel like he is the prized husband. And although if I could feel that sexy, that would be great too. I'm the trophy husband, right? Yeah. Look at
getting
me,
nice Rolex and everything like that,
bling bling to Ryan.
Yeah, like, she must have gotten like I was gonna bring this up later, but she must have gotten some crazy sign-on bonus.
I bet she did. a buttload of bonus.
I mean, on the low end, isn't a Rolex like $8,000? On the high end, it's like $45,000.
I think so.
Yeah.
So good for her. Man, I would.
Yeah. because she just got a job at a pharmaceutical company for a buttload of money. Yep.
So, anyways, I was curious what you thought, but I think we're on the same page. And again, I feel like money's confusing, and if other people deal with it differently, I can understand feeling awkward about it, and I can understand the confusion in this episode that will come up.
I think the thing that would actually make it a little tough and hard on the relationship is if one person was trying to control the other person because of the money. I think Howard did overreact a little bit, because it's not like she was trying to control him. It was just, here's your gift. I'm making a lot of money, so I just wanted you to have something nice. Here you go. She wasn't trying to like push him into a corner or anything like that.
Right? Even with her comment, she says something like, we'll get to this. I want my baby to look good or something, or have nice things, right?
Yeah.
I guess the same thing comes down, and I've seen jokes about it. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting engaged, and she's worth, like, I think upwards to like almost $2 billion at this point, 1.5 or something. She's huge, and he's worth a couple $100 million. So he is definitely, they are both fucking bread earners, right?
Yeah, they're both fine.
Yeah. It's just people are making jokes like, oh, he is kind of the trophy husband because he's making so much less than her. But they're
much
both
more
fine
than the average person.
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's fine.
All right. Well, now opening credits, and now we switch over to Raj's apartment. Raj is on his computer, and he is rapping out to some Vanilla Ice. And the walls are very thin, and he can hear Leonard and Priya's entire conversation. And they are role-playing some Star Trek. And this goes into what we were talking about, like, many episodes ago, about, like, there was concern of Priya not taking any interest in Leonard's interest, and this is definitely stepping up to the plate.
I was going to say, in fact, I have a question somewhere in here, but two things. One, first of all, let's start with that. The costume. It is Raj's costume that she's wearing. And I have to wonder, why is she wearing this? Like, she seems so disconnected from what Leonard likes and like his geeky stuff that I feel like this is a hard sell to get her into this cosplay. But kudos to her for doing it. She hasn't been built into a character that I could see her saying, I'll do that for you. Like, even if she was interested in cosplaying, it's another step to take the cosplaying into the bedroom. Not everybody's comfortable with it. To take somebody who's not interested in cosplaying and go straight into the bedroom with it, everybody's a little different. But I was kind of wondering, like, do I believe that she would do that for him? It seems a little out of character, but not a big deal. The other thing is, Raj, what the fuck? Having a sibling have sex in my bed, in my clothes, I don't think I would be okay with that. Like,
I know, just the whole thing. What, like, at the whole time, like, they bring it up later that the storyline is they have to be over there because she doesn't get along with Sheldon. And
that doesn't mean you have to have sex in your brother's bed.
It's like, dude,
in his
I
costume.
Don't care. It's like, dude, don't have. If my brother was using my bed, it's like, dude, you could sleep on it, but don't have sex in it. Come on,
right?
Let's like boundaries.
and I was thinking that a step further because it's his Halloween costume. So if you found out like somebody was putting on your clothing to have sex in them, like that. Like, why? What? Right?
I know, he's like, it's so funny how much of a pushover he is with Priya, because Priya is the younger sister too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But man, I just I don't and like, so people are like, well, you have sheets on the bed. Sheets aren't waterproof and stuff comes out, right?
Yeah. Unless you get the waterproof sheet underneath, which we actually do have, which is a great investment.
It's But it doesn't come out of the clothing, so that fucking uniform it's gone. Raj needs to get rid of that uniform.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm glad that we're on the same page. That's kind of weird because I was like, why is she having sex in his like it's a woman's
The whole
costume.
situation is weird where it's like she should have gotten her own place so long ago and just not even say anything. It's like she didn't have to tell her parents.
Although
just get your own place.
What we find out later is maybe she's not as committed as we've been hoping she is, that she's not committed to the job. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, I had to get that out there.
Yeah. Well, Leonard is still in character and says that, don't worry, Raj can't hear us because he has his noise-canceling headphones on and we're 10 miles above the Earth. And Raj, just to get in some sort of jab, he's like, really? 10 miles? You're orbiting inside the atmosphere? Moron.
And now second IQ point.
Yep. I did this one too. Do you want to go?
I'll take on this one first and then you can add in.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say that Raj is correct that they are technically in the Earth's atmosphere. That's not necessarily mathematically wrong or like scientifically wrong or even, I don't know.
Mocking him doesn't make sense because the atmosphere extends so much further than what we realize.
Exactly. In fact, scientists are still debating it.
Because that's actually why I did this research point, because every time I feel like I watch a sci-fi show, whenever there's some sort of space station orbiting around, it's usually way closer than the moon.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, if that's still in the atmosphere, why are you mocking him?
And I wanted to start this off by defining orbiting. And orbiting is when you are moving so fast around a planet that you are basically, since the planet's round, you are falling off the edge. And so basically you're constantly falling, but because you're falling so quickly, you're making it around the edge of the planet and around the other side so that you never touch the ground. It's just a constant circle, which is what the moon is doing. And according to NASA.com, I found out that technically there are mostly understood, 5 major layers and several secondary layers. And the 5 major layers of the atmosphere are the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. And then also the question is, the edge of outer space is kind of unknown. I'm going to get back to that. But the big thing also here is that technically, however we define the atmosphere is really confusing because Earth's cloud, a cloud of molecules that belong to Earth and that have kind of orbited around Earth, there's a study that suggests hydrogen atoms have been found nearly 391,000 miles into space beyond Earth. So basically way beyond the moon, which means that technically the moon is in a part of Earth's atmosphere. However, with the other ones, we get the troposphere, and this extends 7.5 miles into the sky. This is the atmosphere the sphere that holds air and water vapor, which is needed to create life. It also holds heat. So the heat that's generated because the Earth absorbs the sun and then kind of radiates and transfers that heat so that we don't just freeze as soon as night comes. That's part of that atmosphere. And most of the weather takes place here too. Technically, they are above that 7.5 miles. They are in what's called the stratosphere, which extends to 31 miles. The stratosphere is also known as the ozone layer, which protects the surface. And for some reason, the ozone blocks out ultraviolet radiation so that we don't have too much radiation killing everything on Earth. And because of that radiation, the higher you go, the warmer you get. I guess because you get direct UV radiation hitting you, so it warms stuff up. But I'm also guessing that as soon as you get out of the sun's sunlight into the dark spot, into night, it cools off very quickly as well because there's nothing holding that heat. You're just getting straight up sun when you get up there. Mesosphere, the third sphere, extends 50 miles. And this one is scarce of water vapor. meteors tend to burn up in this part of the atmosphere. And this is the coldest place in the Earth system, according to NASA, from what I was reading. Above that, we have the thermosphere, which extends 440 miles. This one has this one is cloud and water vapor free. So all the clouds and water vapor are gone. According to this website, Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis are sometimes seen here. And this is the sphere that the space station orbits in. So they are up below 440 miles, between 50 and 440 miles into the air. The exosphere above the 440 mark goes from 440 to 6,200 miles. So way, way, way above the 10 miles that Leonard is talking about. The exosphere is extremely low density, and this is where it merges with what we know as outer space, and it starts to get exposed to solar winds. And this is a sphere where gas starts to escape into outer space. There is no weather here because there's no, I guess, water vapor or clouds or anything, no weather at all here. Although it does say in the lower parts, sometimes the auroras, Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis, are sometimes seen here as well. The International Space Station orbits in the thermosphere, one orbit below this. However, the exosphere is usually what holds satellites. So if you see satellites, it's usually a sphere above the International Space Station. And then from there, we have the edge of outer space. And what is usually called the edge of outer space, what is usually known or considered space, is called the Kármán line. And this is at the 62-mile mark, which would put it at basically in the mesosphere, the one where meteors usually burn up, the coldest place of Earth's system, and the scarce water vapor. And the reason this line is considered outer space, the edge of outer space, is because 99.99997% of vapor and molecules are below this line. So the other 0.00007 or 3, I mean, not 7, crap, I guess, is above that line, but it's very thin, very spread out. And yeah, so Raj isn't wrong to say that he's in the atmosphere, but if we aren't completely clear on how we define atmosphere, technically he is in the stratosphere, but he's not in the mesosphere, and he's not in the thermosphere. And the thermosphere is where the space station is, which is above 440 miles. So technically he could orbit Earth at that point if he's moving fast enough, but he's still way, I guess he is, what would it be, 52 miles below the Kármán line, which is considered outer space.
You said that that it's 62 miles above, but you said that was the mesosphere. I think you meant the thermosphere.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
The space station is 62 miles above, which is in the mesosphere, but the mesosphere ends at the 50-mile mark.
So I was taking it mesosphere goes from 50 to 440.
Oh, I thought that was the thermosphere.
Let's look this up.
What do you have for thermosphere?
Thermosphere, I have 440 to, I might be, you know what? I'm off. I'm doing it the vice versa. Shit. So troposphere is up to 7.5. Stratosphere is... Yeah.
Yeah, because as you went over it the first time, you had it all right, but then as you started going through the second half of where like the satellites go and everything like that, it was a little off.
Yeah, so mesosphere goes up to 50 miles.
Yeah.
And 62 miles would put it into the thermosphere. Which goes up to 440 miles. From the 50-mile mark to 440. So I was off one. I apologize. So technically, yeah. I was.
I'm sure everyone tuned us out anyways.
That's fair. And I also heard that these are kind of not random numbers, but they're not consistent. That at the polls, like things fluctuate. I mean, it's molecules. They kind of go wherever. But
Yeah,
yes,
especially as we're like orbiting and we're turning on our axis and everything like that.
Magnetic poles are moving stuff, and we're releasing our methane gas. Things are changing. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, it is in the one above that. It's in the thermosphere.
Okay.
Thank you. So I'm guessing the International Space Station is probably above the 62-mile mark, which is why they call it outer space, even though it is still technically in the atmosphere of some extent.
Yeah, it's inner space. Get that shit
Inner
right.
Space. Yeah. So what do you got to add to it?
Absolutely nothing. You captured that a little too well. Yeah.
I got
you
that
had
was
better
one
descriptions
that
of each layer too. So I didn't even get all the descriptions. So yeah, you did much better job.
That was one where I was like, I just find this really freaking interesting. It's not really too complex. It's just stuff that I'm like, wow, that's cool.
I think the biggest takeaway out of that is that the moon is actually in our atmosphere. That
right?
was a little kind of mind blowing to me. It's like, what? It is? Oh my god!
I was,
assumed, after honestly, like I just assumed outside of the ozone layer, it was just outer space,
right?
And now it's not.
Although, like, part of me too is like, well, if it's orbiting, it must be in the atmosphere, but I don't think that works scientifically either. So, because technically you can still orbit. Wait, although I don't. Science.
Science. Well, awesome. All right. And now Raj has to get out of the apartment when the shuttlecraft approaches the bay doors.
Just getting ready for an inspection.
We jump over to Howard's, and Raj is going to seek refuge at Howard's place, but Howard is on his way out to see Bernadette, and Mrs. Wallowitz starts getting a little feisty, so I guess he's out. We get another
she
callback.
Wants to play doctor.
Oh yeah.
Which is stabbing the wound into Howard a little bit more. I like that not foreshadowing, but the build-up, right? That she's like, oh, you're not a doctor, Howard. I'm going to play doctor with an actual doctor.
Yeah. And then we get another call out to Bernadette being a doctor and a reminder that Howard's not. So now we cut back over to the apartment, and Sheldon is video chatting with Amy, and it's very noticeable that he has a sore neck because he's massaging himself. And Sheldon is shockingly kind with his words regarding Bernadette, that he's very impressed with her getting a PhD. And Amy was kind of a jerk about it.
Yeah.
It didn't really make the most amount of sense. It made me think that they may have filmed this out of order or something like that, because it's like they just spent like the last few episodes with her bonding with Bernadette so well. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she's just like knocking her accomplishment down. It didn't
for like no real reason, and she's supposed to be besties with her, right? So,
well, her true bestie is Penny, but she's in the circle though, and she sees her a lot.
They pee together.
Yeah, that's bonding right there. I just didn't really get that part.
And I'm not entirely sure about Amy's logic either, because she says that I study the human brain, which created Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. She studies the yeast, which makes Michelob Light. And I'm like, technically studying yeast, saying like what made us, like on the mycological level, like that's how we understand life, and understanding the brain, like it helps too. But I feel like understanding all life and like the parts that the brain is made of may be more helpful, and definitely for medicine, right? So it felt weird. And
well, yeah, it's she's just very like Sheldon, where she thinks that her field is the most important. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
A whole lot of logic.
But I won't call this necessarily a failed IQ point, but more of a half IQ point. But we don't count half IQ points anymore. But I wanted to do some research on justice for the beer industry.
Ooh.
So she's knocking down like Michelob Light, like, oh, it's just it's microbiology. It just it's no Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. So then I looked at what was the bigger industry, because you and I love alcohol. The alcohol industry is fucking huge. So to knock down Michelob Light and yeast and like creation of beer and everything like that, I think is a little short-sighted, because it's like, yeah, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is awesome, yes, but at the same time, how many people are going out listening to it? How many people are really going to like classical concerts? How many people are playing it? Whereas like beer sales are fucking insane.
Right? Yeah.
So I couldn't find all the
Fifth Symphony influenced or inspired other people, how much did it inspire compared to people being inspired by beer?
Well, we can find out the beer sales worldwide. And I'll round up and I'll say that it is worldwide beer sales, not just alcohol sales. Beer sales are $660 billion annually. It's a lot of money for beer.
Just beer.
But unfortunately, I am not able to calculate classical music sales because there's too many small venues, big venues, what do we count and everything like that. So I could not actually quantify how many people really go to like classical concerts and everything, how many people actually play music, how many people are buying instruments and everything like that. That data was just not available. So I can't really compare the apples to apples.
I also wanted to add... Oh, go for it.
I was going to say, but I will say that Michelob Light itself didn't break the top sales of beer, but Michelob Ultra hit number 3 in America in 2023.
Interesting that I don't know. Is there a difference? Like I don't know if I've had Michelob Light. I've had Ultra Light. I thought they were the same thing.
It just said Michelob Ultra. It didn't say Ultra Light.
Ultra.
So that must be a different one.
This is like do you know how long it took me to realize Budweiser and Bud Light were like the same company? Or that there was another beer called Coors, and that Coors Light and Coors were the same thing, but like everybody drinks Bud Light or Coors Light. They don't like... How often do you see some... Like, do you...
I know, it's always the light version, but there actually is a Budweiser. There actually is a Coors.
And it's like an old-time can. Like, you would think some, like, great-grandpa was drinking it, because most people don't drink, like, the Bud Light or the Coors Light. But I was going to say, I'm a beer snob. I like special beers. I nitpick them. However, I don't make fun of any beers, and I won't criticize anybody for drinking what beer they like. And as a brewer, I am steadfast in saying that it is a cheap shot to try to punch at the brewing standards of Bud Light, Coors Light, Michelob Light, or whatever it might be. Because technically those beers use more science than any other brewer. It is amazing, and I stand by it's freaking amazing that they can have 2 breweries in the whole world, or 3 breweries, one in Colorado, one in New England, and one in Europe. And despite where they're getting the hops, how long it takes to get the hops, what type of groundwater they're using, how they have to treat that water, what type of yeast and how old the yeast is, that every single brewery on every side of the planet is producing a beer that tastes freaking identical. There are people out there who say that they can give them like 4 bottles and they can tell you which brewery they came from. I'm not one of those people, but it's fucking amazing that I can't create the same brew week by week, let alone here compared to if I was in Africa, compared to if I was in China, or if I was in England, or if I was in Japan. I wouldn't make the same beer. How can they do it? It's amazing. They deserve kudos. I may not love their beer, but I appreciate their artwork.
I definitely have been finding more appreciation for lighter beers in my old age, because I can't really handle that many heavy things. And it's nice to just have something light to just kind of sip on like a hot day. So yeah. I've been kind of transitioning more over to like the lighter beers. But of course, I say that the day I pour a Guinness. The exact opposite.
to be fair, Guinness isn't high ABV. It's just it's a thick boy.
It is. It's so funny. I never buy Guinness. I never get Guinness. I got it because I happened to listen to a podcast about the Guinness widget. It's that's for anybody out there. In the Guinness can, there's a little ball on the inside.
Yeah.
That's the widget. So I listened to a podcast about that, and then back to back, I listened to an interview with Jason Momoa. And Jason Momoa is known for loving Guinness. Like that's like his thing. Like, if you don't know, like Aquaman, Jason Momoa, when he was doing his training, he said, build the training routine where I could still have a Guinness every day. That's how much. So I, listening to those two podcasts back to back, it's like, I feel like a Guinness.
I love Guinness. I respect Guinness, but I love-hate relationship because one of my favorite beers is called Kilkenny. And every other country freaking has it like everywhere in cans. And I've heard that the reason we don't have it in the US is because Guinness owns the patent on the widget. Is that what you call it, the widget? Which releases the nitrogen into the beer, so it's nitrogen based, not CO2 based. Kilkenny is, there's another beer that looks like Smithwick's, but man, I'm gonna mispronounce it. It's pronounced like Smittix.
I thought it was. I've heard Smittix.
Smittix. I've heard a couple different things, but I know you're not supposed to. You don't pronounce the W, right? The Smithwicks. Smithix. I can't remember. No W. I have to look this up. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. You can cut that.
Okay.
It looks like Smithwicks, but apparently to Google, you pronounce it Smittix or Smittix. I tend to say Smittix, more like a D. And people usually look at me, even bartenders, and like, "Do you mean Smithwicks?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, sure,
whatever gets me the beer, right?" And but when I was in Ireland, like they're like, "No, you need to drop that W out, sir." I'm like, "I can do that for you." But anyways, the Kilkenny is basically a Smittix, but with nitrogen instead of CO2. So it's that creamy head and the creamy flavor, but it's kind of a lighter red beer. And they had it in Japan. In Japan, you could see the Smittix, the Guinness, and the Kilkenny. Like, they put them together in every supermarket, and I fell in love with Kilkenny. And in the US, I have found it in can version one time. It's about 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. It was a few weeks after St. Patty's Day, and Target had a variety pack of Guinness, Harp, and Kilkenny in it. And it was really beat up. In fact, they had a couple. I bought both of them. I don't know where they came from, why they had them, but I bought them. And the cans were all dented, but I drank them and I enjoyed them. Now the only place I can really find it is if you find an Irish bar and they have it on tap, because they'll be the only ones who do have it on tap. And I judge Irish bars very harshly for this. If I go and ask for a Kilkenny and they're like, "I don't know what that is and we don't have it," I'm like, I don't feel like you're very authentic. But they might be. I don't know. I just
because you like beer and fish and chips on here don't make you authentic.
Exactly, right? So anyways,
Side question. Are you Irish, or do you have Irish in you?
We don't really know. I'm a mutt of England, I guess. So basically, in the DNA study I've done, it's just kind of like Scotland, England, and Ireland are like, you came from this area. I'm like, okay.
Just somewhere over there. Not even definitive.
Right? So that's technically my dad's half. My mom's half is basically Poland. Is like 99% Poland. There's like 1% that's like, I don't know, somewhere in Russia. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
I'm just curious.
So yeah, I like to say I'm Irish. I don't think I'm fully, anyways. But so what? Yeah. Anyways, so I hear the reason we don't get Kilkennys in cans is because Guinness has the patent on those little widgets. I'm not sure if that's true, but I've loved Guinness still. I don't know.
It's pretty good. Haven't had one in a really long time. I actually don't really drink that much beer anymore, just in general. But yeah, it's good.
I like to keep
it's
a couple
good to change it up
on hand for stew. So I have a couple
stew
of my
seasons coming up.
Right? A couple in my fridge from I don't know, probably March when I was starting to practice some shepherd's pie and Irish stew, yeah.
Do you do ground beef or do you actually do lamb?
It's been ground beef lately, but I do prefer lamb. I freaking love lamb.
I know.
Right?
We talk about this a lot. It just kind of comes up how much we love lamb, and I don't get it because my wife doesn't like it, so that means I don't get it.
My partner doesn't like it. My mom doesn't like it. My dad's not really a fan, and I fucking adore it. I love it. Which I think I've told you, in Japan it was cheaper than beef, so I was like, lamb everywhere.
Lamb everything.
And the killikitty.
Well, that was the partial half IQ point, basically.
Let's just it's a season finale. Let's make it an IQ point.
Okay, it's justice for the beer industry.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, even after I told myself I was going to listen to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, but I never did. I was like, okay, I'll listen to it for the podcast. Completely forgot about it. I know I listened to it at some point in music class like long ago, but I couldn't even. I don't know which one it is. But I am drinking a beer, so
I'm sure it's great and it's done a lot for the world. However, I can get through this beer a lot more easily than the Fifth Symphony.
So take that, Amy. Well, then Amy decides to guide Sheldon to massage himself. She kind of just like tells him where to go and everything like that, and then it works and he has magic hands. But then she says, don't flatter yourself. I could have just as easily paralyzed you. So I actually did a little bit of research on this one too.
I did too. And before that, I was going to say too, one point, not like Sheldon, because I am perfectly fine oiling myself up and letting a stranger touch me. I love massages.
Massages are great.
Right. Yeah.
It takes forever to find the right one though. The right like therapist.
And it's never who you think it is either, right? People are like, well, you need a guy to be really muscular. I'm like, not necessarily. The best I've had are from like petite women who like just they know how to get into stuff. You just need somebody who knows, and you know, people are like, don't you feel like gay having a guy touch you? I'm like, having a guy massage me is not having homosexual sex, so I'm okay with it, right? It's not sexual. It's I
will say I had a massage from a guy once, and it was a little different. I definitely prefer a lady, but
he went straight for my butt and started rubbing that a lot,
and he just never moved on.
I was like, "This is full body, right?" And he goes, "Oh yeah,
yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are." But yeah, I've as long as they can do it, I'm okay with. Yeah, I'll provide my own oil. I don't know. I love massages.
Oh man, this reminds me of a story. This has nothing to do with the episode, but it's just kind of like I still remember the worst massage of my life.
Oh.
I won. It was like this at a gym that I worked at, that I worked out at. They had like this weight loss competition and everything like that, and the winner got a free massage. So I was like, cool. That means you're going to give me like a gift certificate to like a massage therapy or something like that. But no, what happened was one of his other clients was actually a massage therapist that donated her services, which was like, okay, that's cool. They did it at the gym in one of the rooms that didn't even dim, so it was fully lit. And then she was like, I don't use oils, I do something else and everything, where it was more like a gel thing and everything like that. So it wasn't lubricated at all, so it was all sticky and everything, so it hurt like
This hurts.
So the room was super bright. We were in this kind of closet room. It was like the weirdest thing, but I was like, oh my god, that was the worst.
Oh man. The worst I've ever had. What, the masseuse, I'm sure she was fine. I think I was on a cruise, but I had eaten something wrong and my stomach was upset, very upset. And basically, you have that hour with them, and if you leave to go to the bathroom, you're using up time. So I'm like, I'm not leaving this table, but at the same time, if you push me wrong, something might come out. I don't know.
Oh no!
And so she's going. I'm like, like as she's pushing, I'm pushing back. I remember that being painful, uncomfortable, and very, very stressful. It all worked out. I made it to the bathroom and through the whole massage. So, but that was it was a bad time.
Sounds like it. That sounds worse than my time.
So massages can go bad.
Yes. Well, I wanted to look into if this is true. Basically, can you, if you just through a hand massage, can you paralyze someone? So it kind of reminded me of the whole like Vulcan neck pinch things too and everything.
Me too, and that's what I looked into as well.
Like, could you just like, if you know the right nerve, could you just walk up to someone, pinch them, paralyze them?
Sleep now.
That's what I looked into, and I couldn't really find enough information on this. So, in principle, it seems like it could be true, because our nervous system is very frail, and one wrong move could paralyze you. But I could not find a single report of this specific instance that we're talking about happening. There are reports about like after like really deep massages, some people have reported numbness, but they weren't paralyzed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's true or not. Basically, did you find anything?
I did a little bit more depth on what you went into. You know, the Vulcan nerve pinch. And that's what it reminded me of. That is technically completely fictionalized. And the way I understood it from StarTrek.com, the fan forum or whatever, is that there was an original script where Spock was supposed to hit Kirk over the head and knock him out. And Leonard Nimoy was like, that doesn't sound like something Spock would do. And so it was basically Leonard Nimoy's brainchild of what if he had a spot he could hit and just knock Kirk out. Very methodical, very scientific and precise. And that's what led to it. But technically, it wasn't based on any science. However, from what I looked up, technically you could hit somebody over the head. You could reduce oxygen to give the numbness and paralysis, but I feel like choking somebody is very, very different than a nerve pinch or a pressure point, right? So I don't think Amy's talking about choking somebody or having, Sheldon choke himself. That I don't think that counts. So that led me into pressure points. And pressure points, according to different websites, are sensitive points either through nerves, blood vessels, or muscles that accumulate in places. And technically, stimulating those can cause some numbness and temporary loss of function. That's not exactly paralysis, though. Health.com says that pressure points, aka acupressure points or acupoints, are basically points in the nervous system where nerves combine, and rubbing them is thought to cause health benefits. And they say that there's usually accepted 361 acupoints. Some claim there's over 400, but this gets into some pseudoscience is a bad word, but alternative science maybe, that pressing these releases blockages of flow of energy. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I know that if you have the third eye, if you rub up here during like sinus season, it feels really good and relieves some pressure. So there's some science behind it, but people disagree. That doesn't necessarily cause paralysis. Rubbing like different pressure points, it's usually health benefits and relieving stress usually. So that led me into the last thing I could possibly think of that a pressure point could knock you out. Although I have to say, I had a friend in high school who, I don't know, we were rambunctious, we wrestled, but he had what he called pokes. And he would hold his thumb out, kind of like that, kind of like if you're lifting a bottle opener. And he would ram that into, like, right next to your spine. And it would hit a nerve, and it could bring you down. But I think that was more just the pain and blunt force of somebody thrusting their thumb into your spine. I don't think it was what Amy's talking about either, but technically, I mean, blunt force can knock somebody over. So I was thinking, what about the funny bone? And the funny bone, according to the American Society for Surgery of Hands.org, is the ulnar nerve, which is inside the elbow, and hitting your elbow just right can not rupture, hit that nerve, cause stress and pressure to that nerve, which could cause you to lose feeling in your hand or mobility in your hand. Although I don't know if Sheldon can hit his elbow hard enough for what Amy's talking about to cause paralysis. And that led me to, well, what about the knee? And I bring this up because in middle school, I fell a couple times and have hit my knee in ways where it's not technically the funny bone, but there are similar nerves that run around your knee. And I feel like I had the name, the peroneal nerve. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Goes to your knee. And if that gets hit, it's like the funny bone. And I remember in middle school, in fact, I got sent home early because I tripped on some stairs and hit my knee. And I tried to keep going to class, but it was obvious my nerve was hit. And I'm like, I'm going down. Like I leaned against the wall and the world started spinning and everything went numb. And I did fall over and pass out. And I woke up to the nurse like waking me up, and she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I think I hit my knee wrong." She's like, "That shouldn't happen. Let's send you home." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck, I'm going home."
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's what Amy was talking about either, but I know that I've never been able to hit my knee hard enough to replicate that. It's always been on accident when I've tripped and just like hit my knee on something hard like a table or on a stair, a corner of something. But yeah, I'm not completely sure Amy's right. I think this is I'm voting against her, that there's not something that Sheldon could have done on his neck like a Vulcan punch to knock himself out.
Even if he could, it's like what you were saying. Sheldon is strong enough to actually do it to himself.
That too, right? Although, I mean, at the same time, he could choke himself to pass out, but I don't think that's what she's talking about. That's
Well, any doctors or nurses out there that actually are familiar with this, like, please give us some insight, because we could not find any information to support this.
And tell me, is it normal for kids to fall and like pass out if they hit their knees? Because that nurse made it seem like that should not happen. And for a while, I'm like, I should probably keep that a secret because there might be something wrong with me. And I don't know.
All right, so good. Right. Non-IQ point.
Oh, that's an IQ point.
Oh, okay, yeah, we disproved her.
Yeah, IQ point.
IQ points.
It's season finale. It's anything goes.
It's the finale. Well, then there's a knock on the door, and this part I did like. Amy just says, that doesn't interest me. Goodbye, and just hangs up.
I did like that. Click.
I think we should normalize that behavior. If you just don't want to do something, just don't do it, and just be open and honest. Be like, yeah, I'm good.
I'm done here.
It's like getting an invite out. It's like, hey, do you want to go hang out? No. Thank you.
I remember a long time ago, I was at a resort with some friends and some family friends, and somebody's like, do you want more drinks? And we all kind of ordered up, and instead of like going to the bar and getting the drinks, the person who was supposed to get the drinks like kept talking and talking, and somebody in the group was like, I'm done with this, and turned around and just walked away and got their own drinks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I like that mentality. I'm done here.
Well, it's Raj at the door, and he wants to stay there. And Sheldon makes him go through the ringer before letting him sleep. And when Raj walks in, he just says, "Oh, I'll just use Leonard's bed. He's using mine." But then Sheldon says that the Hammurabi Code, an eye for an eye, is not a bed for a bed. Which, go right into our next IQ point.
I didn't do anything about this. I thought about it, but I was like, so I'm curious.
I just want to know what it is. And then it got me thinking about eye for an eye and bed for a bed, because in my mind I was like, no, Sheldon, an eye for an eye is the same thing as a bed for a bed. It's equal exchange, right?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Although I would think
dun.
Before you go into this, I'm thinking like bed for a bed seems more like taking care of each other, and eye for an eye is more about revenge. So like,
well, I guess I took it more as like, I've always thought eye for an eye is just equal exchange. That's kind of just how I thought it is, like a 1-to-1 exchange.
I always thought of it like if they hurt you, you do the same pain back. Like it's always revenge related. So I'm not sure if that's true though.
Well, let's find out about the Hammurabi Code. So first thing is that this should actually be referred to as the Code of Hammurabi, not the Hammurabi Code. Because everywhere I looked for it, nobody ever calls it the Hammurabi Code.
Huh.
The Code of Hammurabi was one of the earliest and most complete written legal codes, and it was proclaimed by the Babylonian king Hammurabi, who reigned from 1792 to 1750 BC. This is a collection of 282 rules, established standards for commercial interactions, and set fines and punishments to meet the requirements of justice. The Code of Hammurabi was carved into a massive, finger-shaped black stone stele, basically a pillar. All edicts were written in the if-then format. For example, if a man steals an ox, then he must pay back 30 times its value. The edicts range from family law to professional contracts and administrative law, often outlining different standards of justice for the three classes of the Babylonian society: the propertied class, freedmen, and slaves. So basically, essentially like a caste system. So again, at first I thought, well, Sheldon is wrong. An eye for an eye is the same as a bed for a bed, 1-to-1 exchanges. But after reading some of these laws, it is not eye for an eye.
Ooh.
So, specifically, the line for where this comes from, an eye for an eye, is this right here. If a man has destroyed the eye of a man of the gentleman class, they shall destroy his eye. Okay, so that one's equal if you're in the same class, if you're in the gentleman's class. But if he destroyed the eye of a commoner, he shall pay 1 mina of silver. If he has destroyed the eye of the gentleman's slave, he shall pay half the slave's price. The Babylonians clearly did not live under a social system that treated everybody equally.
All men were not equal.
Yep, so it is not equal. So eye for an eye doesn't really even mean eye for an eye. And I have a list of all 282 edicts. But we're not going to read them all. Don't worry. And strap yourselves in. Number 1. No, I'm just kidding.
Number 1. Okay.
I thought that we could just randomly pick some numbers. So pick a number, Ryan. Let's see if it's on here. It does skip around a little bit. So, okay, I lied. It doesn't actually have all 282. For some reason, this list skips around. And I'm guessing because it couldn't be translated.
Yeah.
Pick a number, and I'll just do the one that's closest.
Let's start with 13.
Number. 13. Okay, so the closest number is 7.
Huh?
If anyone buys from the son or the slave of another silver or gold, a male or female slave, an ox or a sheep, an ass or anything, without witness or contract, or if he agrees to take charge of stolen property, he is considered a thief and shall be put to death.
God damn! That jump.
No, it's like, see, it's like if you just buy something without a witness, it's like, geez. All right, let's do a couple more numbers. This is fun.
69.
The closest is 53. So law 53. If anyone be too lazy to keep his dam in proper condition, and if the dam then breaks and all the fields get flooded, then whoever let the dam break shall be sold for money. Oh, they basically get thrown into enslavement, and the money shall replace the crops which he has caused to be ruined. So take care of your dams, everyone.
I've just been watching the Hurricane Katrina documentary. I feel like that might apply.
Yep, you fuck things up. Who
let honestly, the dams break? Who? Who?
All right, let's do one more.
Let's go with 111.
All right, 111. Okay, 110 is the closest one.
Well, that's close.
If a holy woman opens a tavern or enters a tavern for a drink, she shall be burned to death. Good Lord.
Holy shit.
That took a leap. Yeah. Huh. So I think the biggest takeaway out of this is for our entire lives, we thought eye for an eye. It's eye for an eye. It's not.
It's a beer for a burn at the stake.
Yeah.
God damn. Wow.
But yeah. So these rules aren't really used anymore, but people use them as guidelines. Not even that. But that is Hammurabi's Code of Laws.
110 is a doozy. Burn at the stake. Wow.
All right. Moving on. Well, Sheldon makes him sign an agreement before allowing him in, and then he shows him the emergency exits and the glow-in-the-dark arrows. And then as he's pointing to the emergency exits, I noticed that he points to the ceiling. I don't know if that was on purpose. Did you notice that too?
So, two things. I definitely noticed that, and I kind of assumed maybe he was pointing backwards at the window. Because if you follow the arrows, they lead to the window in the back, and that's the closest when he goes like that. But I noticed it's the ceiling, so I was like, what the hell? And on the second watch, I paid attention to the arrows. I'm like, maybe he meant to go backwards, like at the window.
Yeah, I don't know. He could have just been pointing at things. Follow the arrows.
Both his pointing and the arrows suggest there is an exit in the kitchen. Did you notice that?
I saw that too. Yeah. But they do never show that side, so there might be a window on that side. Might be a window?
It's gotta be one.
I don't think they ever show that side. But then again, it's one of the way it's filmed.
Did you ever watch that Boy Meets World episode where they're talking about the characters, the actors who have never returned to the show, and they're like, well, they're on that side of the school, the side of the school that they never pan to. It's like on the other side of the lockers. And I think in one of the episodes, somebody comes back and they're like, I was over there for a while. I've got to go back now. It's the other side of the school.
No, I don't remember that episode, but I do remember How I Met Your Mother. How they show the other side of the booth. And there's a door, and they're just like, what's in that door?
Don't they go one by one? Like, I'm going, and they disappear.
Yep. All right. Well, now we jump over to Leonard's room. It's the next day, and Leonard is coming home. And then he sits down, and he ends up on Raj. Then they come to agreement that they are going to switch apartments. And we also learned that Raj didn't seem like he got a lot of sleep last night because apparently after signing the waiver, he had to participate in the fire drill and take a refresher course in CPR. It's like, well, that's a lot of stuff happening that night. I'd rather just get a hotel.
Right? At what point? Or just play doctor with Howard's mom.
Yeah. And then we learned that Sheldon has a CPR dummy, which was Howard's ex-girlfriend. That's pretty gross.
Have we known anything about that, or is that just kind of a new thing, a
it's
joke?
It's just a new throwaway thing.
That was Mona, right?
Oh, that's Mona. That must be so dirty.
Right?
Howard's ex-girlfriend.
And he did mouth to mouth on her.
Plus whatever else.
Yeah.
And then, Raj is stoked because he's like, oh, can I bring girls here? It's like, sure, Raj.
Which I made a noise. Note that's great foreshadowing because they play it off as a joke. Leonard says, as long as it's of their own free will, like not against their will, right? But the fact that he says, can I bring girls here, like made me think he's going to bring somebody there. Or multiple people, I don't know, but this episode's going to end with girls in that room, and I'm curious of where it's going. They play it off; it's a funny joke, especially when Leonard says "not against their will," but it is great foreshadowing. So yeah.
Well, now we jump over to the cafeteria, and Raj and Leonard are still mocking Howard for not having a PhD. Sheldon arrives with great news that Raj is cleared to live at the apartment temporarily, and he took his blood. But that's not important.
Did you take it?
He has Raj sign a new roommate agreement, and Sheldon wrote in that he has the power of attorney over Raj. But it's okay because it's reciprocated, so it's fair. Raj receives his welcome package, which is an ID card, key, and lapel pin. And this is great detail. It's the same flag. It's the apartment flag. Did you zoom in on that?
I didn't notice that. I didn't. Good catch.
Gold lion on a field of azure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, great details.
Great detail.
Then Sheldon lines up all the new responsibilities of Raj as a roommate. So he has to drive him to and from work, the comic book store, the barbershop, and the park for 1 hour every other Sunday for fresh air. Also, he's in charge of bringing home takeout dinners, and tonight is Thai food. And then if he ever prefers the human touch, he does a live web chat called Apartment Talk on Tuesday nights. I'd love to sit in on that.
I would be curious of what he talks about for that duration.
I wonder if he did it I wonder if he logs in every Tuesday night and then Leonard just didn't. He just left him hanging every Tuesday night.
Just keep going.
Well, now we jump back over to the apartment, and Raj is shining as the new roommate. He shows Sheldon the difference between eating and dining.
I love that line.
Whole 9 yards. Yes, great line.
That's the difference.
He goes the whole 9 yards. Dimmed lights, light some candles, tablecloth, wine glasses, and he wore his lapel pin. And origami napkins.
That's awesome.
He's setting the bar a little too high. It's like, dude, you're gonna have to do this every time.
Right?
Which Raj
you can
might
never
not
go
mind,
down.
actually. Yeah. Then Penny comes over needing the new Wi-Fi password, and Sheldon just gives it up easily. It's like, what's the point in changing it if you're just going to give it up? Penny, get your own Wi-Fi, no spaces. And then she gets the update that Leonard is living with Priya now. We jump over to Bernadette's room, and Howard and Bernadette are in bed, and they're discussing her new job.
I have a point that's like Raj, because he makes a dumb comment where Sheldon says that Leonard is out for the same reason Homo erectus is out. A superior species came in, and Raj says, I'm the new homo in town.
Yeah.
And I know I make dumb comments like that without thinking about it, and then like everybody looks at me, and I'm like, oh yeah. I don't think I've ever made that comment, but I know that feeling and I know the look. So I'm going to give a point for Raj there.
Awesome. Well, Howard and Bernadette are in bed and they're discussing her new job. She's going into research on premature ejaculation because since neither of them have heart disease. And the look on Howard's face. So we kind of talked about this earlier. It's because she's researching things that she knows and understands. So the joke is that Howard has premature ejaculation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again doesn't seem like he's that's not really microbiology, but it's pharmacy, I guess. And
it's like she just got headhunted and now this is her job.
But if it's money, I'll figure it out. Yep. What's a wiener? How does it work? Yeah, give me the money, right?
Well, now she gives him the gift, the Rolex. And this emasculates Howard, which is like, I wouldn't care. You want to get me a Rolex? Well, honestly, I tell my wife this all the time. If she ever gets me a Rolex, I'd be mad just because I can't spend frivolously on things like that.
My issue with it would be
even if we had the money, I just can't justify a watch for like 10,000 or 20,000 or however much. I'll take my Apple Watch.
It would be tough. My issue with it was I really don't like the color gold, and so if my partner spent that much money,
gold.
They don't. I'm just thinking if somebody got me a gold watch, I'm like, I'm marrying you, and you don't know I don't like gold. For $10,000, like that would worry me.
Yeah, you don't know me at all.
You don't know me.
Why are we even together?
Take your watch.
I'm gonna pawn this after I break up with you. I'm gonna start a new life with this money.
far away from you.
Me. Take this to the strip club where everyone understands me.
Where everybody knows my name. I want to go.
Those girls actually take an interest in me. It's amazing.
They know I don't like gold. That reminds me of one of the first strip clubs I went to. Although I don't know how I feel about this because we were talking to one of the strippers. She was serving us, and she talked to me and my friend about comic books. And she actually kept up her end of the conversation quite well. She faked it really fucking good. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You really like comics. Like on the way home, my friend's like, you know, she didn't like comics, right? I go, but she knew the details. Like she bullshitted us so well if she didn't like them. But maybe she did. I don't know. But like it was.
Maybe she just did her research because all the nerds go
there. That's what. Yeah, good for her. She deserved those tips. Wow. But then I was like, oh man, they lie to us for money. Good for them, but they do their research. Wait a minute.
They lied to me? She doesn't like that? Well, now we're back at the apartment, and they're all finishing up dinner, and Sheldon has a fun fact about alcohol. He says man is not the only species that ferments fruit in order to become intoxicated. Can you guess what the other is? Sometimes they pack alcohol in their trunks. So I did an IQ point on this.
I did too. I'll let you take it. Although I do love Penny's joke saying that it's monkeys. And they pack it in their trunks when a suitcase just won't do. I love that line.
I know.
But what'd you get?
So I don't think what Sheldon is saying is technically true. So man is not the only species that ferments fruit in order to become intoxicated. That's kind of how he approached his that's how he says it. The way he words this question is that there's intent to the elephants fermenting the fruit. But after I looked at a bunch of sites and everything like that, and there really is no proof that they're doing it on purpose, that they're actually gathering the fruit to actually like ferment it to create alcohol and they hoard it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like there really was no evidence to suggest that what he was saying is true. They just happen to eat the rotting fruits that are fermented, specifically the fruit of the marula tree.
Yeah.
So I found this on discoverwildscience.com, Snopes.com, and the Smithsonian. So also to note that elephants are not the only animal to eat fermented fruit to get drunk.
That was something too that he says they're only ones to ferment it, but there's no evidence they ferment it on purpose or intent, and they're not the only ones to eat fruit or drink alcohol to get drunk. So it's hard.
Because once a fruit rots enough, it starts to ferment and become alcoholic. And many animals, such as bats and chimps, have been known to eat these. But elephants show visible signs of intoxication. Science has discovered that elephants lack the enzymes to break down alcohol. Humans produce an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase, class 4, that breaks down ethanol. Elephants do not have anything like this at all. So the smallest amount of alcohol makes them like wasted. So that's why when people see this trend of elephants getting drunk, they assume that they're doing it on purpose. But they're not. They just happen to see fruit, eat it, it's alcoholic, they have zero enzyme to like process it, they're wasted.
I think I read somewhere too that that's kind of a, past 20 years that they understood that it was a gene mutation that caused them not to have this enzyme to do the alcohol. I saw a couple different things on it, but like you said, people didn't realize it had to do with them not being able to break down alcohol. And logically, scientifically, they're so big that they would have needed like, I think I wrote down somewhere, like gallons of alcohol to actually feel anything. So it's very important that they don't have this enzyme to break down the alcohol, and that they're basically lightweights for being as heavyweight as they are.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. Did you get anything else?
So I think that was about it. I don't know what I think he was just playing when he said they hold it in their trunks, because I found nothing about them holding alcohol in their trunks to drink later or anything. I think he was just saying that. But I did find a really quick list from treehugger.com of other animals that have been known to drink alcohol. The first on the list was elephants, and it talked about the gene that makes it so they can't break down ethanol. It's talked about how they are known to trample into villages and to actually steal alcohol out of villages. The second one on the list was bears, and that bears, because they're known to open up coolers and trash cans, that they can find leftover or break open cans to drink beers, and that bears have been captured who have been completely wasted because they've broken into so many coolers and so many. In fact, I think it actually said that their beer of choice in that scenario was Rainier. So they do like bears like beer. Monkeys have been documented.
Had a good old Rainier in a while.
Or
Rainier. Did you say it was Rainier, right? That they have a preference for Rainier beer?
Yeah, Rainier.
It's only a Northwest thing.
I think so, right? Yeah. Not Rainier, so it's a
Rainier.
Rainier. Monkeys have been
John
well known.
Everett, you must know what we're talking about.
Probably like the only person listening, but yeah, shout out. Monkeys steal beer and alcoholic drinks from tourists. I've never seen this, but I have seen monkeys with my own eyes steal candy from babies.
Well, I was just asking for it.
Right? Not technically a baby, but a toddler, probably 3 or 4, coming out of a convenience store with a candy bar, and a monkey just grabbed it, and the girl started crying. And like there was a sign on the door saying, "We are not responsible for monkey theft." So monkeys steal beer too. Shrews. This was interesting. Shrews drink fermented nectar from the Burtam palm tree, which can range up to 3.8% ABV, which is pretty high for naturally occurring fermentation. It also said that there's no signs that the shrews get drunk off it, but they drink enough that like they have to feel something. I don't know. Moose have been known for eating fermented apples. Squirrels eat fermented fruit. It noted a couple of occurrences where they specifically go for fermented pears. Dogs have been known for stealing beers off porches. So maybe not necessarily for the alcohol, but just because they find something and they take it and they eat it, right? And then bats, like you said, eat fermented fruits all the time. What I thought was interesting about this is studies suggest that it doesn't impair them. And I didn't find more on that, but technically they can eat the alcoholic fruit. And we should put this straight. Eating fermented fruit for an evening isn't the same as pounding like 8 shots. It's like probably the equivalent to eat like maybe a beer or two at the max. But again, their echolocation and whatnot doesn't seem to be impacted with what they've eaten, although they do eat fermented fruit. So there you go.
Nice. And that's what we have on animals that get drunk.
And I looked into dolphins. I think we've mentioned before that dolphins have been known to pass around pufferfish to get the pufferfish toxin in their system, because if you get a little bit of it, and if you've had fugu, like it's like Novocaine, it makes your mouth kind of numb. And when I got it, I had 4 plates of it, which is probably more than I really needed. I shared them with my ex-wife, but we felt a little tipsy afterward. So it can have some imperative functions, and the dolphins apparently pass the pufferfish around, like were found like just kind of floating, like whoa. But that's not alcohol, and it's not fermenting alcohol. So I don't know, if you cracked open a beer, a dolphin might like it, but I don't think they can get to it.
Well, this goes in to show like not all of things that Sheldon says is true.
Yeah,
we actually kind of found 2 things this episode, this and the paralysis one, that aren't technically true. So,
and technically that was Amy, but Sheldon was going with it, so it counts.
Yeah. So that's why we do these IQ points.
That's why we're here, everybody. The important stuff. Yeah. And the farts.
Especially the farts.
The farts.
Well, Sheldon is over them being drunk and leaves. And Penny asks Raj why he would do this. After seeing Leonard suffer for years, why are you willingly living with Sheldon? But apparently it's better than having to listen to your sister have sex. So I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that.
Fair. Good point.
And then they're both very drunk, and Penny brings up her secret, that she regrets breaking up with Leonard. And poor Raj says, to paraphrase Shakespeare, it's better to have loved and lost than to stay home every night and download increasingly shameful pornography.
Love that line. I don't know why I love it so much, but increasingly, not just shameful, but increasingly shameful.
But then they have a nice moment as friends, and then they clink their glasses, and Sheldon no likey. Now we're at Raj's apartment, and Priya and Leonard are about to get it on. But they get a call from her parents, and he has to hide. And Kat's out of the bag. She's moving back to India.
Dun, dun, dun.
Leonard hops over, and the parents are just like, "Oh my god, why
somebody
is
in
there
the
a house? Call the police in America." Leonard confronts Priya about the breakup and like, "Why didn't you tell me? Why does it matter if we tell your parents now?" She can't deal with it, so she leaves. And I like how he's left with her parents, and then they're just like, "What do you have to say for yourself?" And then it's like he distracts them and just hangs up on them.
That's something about her character too, that I can understand somebody saying, "I'm frustrated, I will talk to you when I calm down," or "I don't have time, I have to concentrate on something else right now." But at that point, it feels like she was overloaded for planning something that was going to hurt him, and then she made it about herself, and saying, "I can't talk about this right now," like made me think she's not a great person. which at the beginning saying, why would she put on that uniform? She's done nothing really to suggest that she's that caring or giving of a significant other. So anyways, that type of reaction would frustrate me. I can see why it's frustrating, and kind of goes with what I've known her character to be. Anyways, I was just thinking that.
It's kind of odd that she would. It does put in. There's a lot of questions around this because we really don't know how long she's known. We don't really know the timeline, so there's just a lot of questions. Like, as an audience looking in and not having enough information, she does come across as a kind of not great in this, because it's like, well, how long have you known? Did you just find out? Well, it's been long enough where your parents knew.
And so like we said before, it seems like if she's staying with her brother that long, that maybe she had no plans of actually staying long term. So maybe she knew even longer, because if she really thought she was committing, she would have found a place. But then again,
a few episodes ago, they did, when they're out to dinner, she did say that there might be a permanent job for her. And they never pursued that again.
Yeah. I assumed she had taken it, so that might be on me, that I assumed she took it, and it just never came up.
Yeah, and it never got brought up again.
Yeah.
So I guess she didn't get the permanent position, so she's moving back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't know.
We don't know.
But now we're at the ending, and we're in Leonard's room. And it's Penny and Raj in bed.
You knew it was coming, but their reactions are phenomenal. Yep. We all knew it was coming, but man.
And he's somewhat sobered up, so he can't even talk to her.
And I love her reaction.
That's like, the funniest part. Really? You still can't talk to me after this?
Really?
So then they had to find a way to get Howard in the room. So, he had to fight with Bernadette, and this kind of puts everybody in the room. And then Raj and Penny come out, and they see him.
Of course.
They all see what happened.
The walk of shame.
But it's not what it looks like.
I like she doesn't even try to explain. It's not what it looks like. It just walks away.
Yep. Just don't even.
It's not what it looks like.
So I did a little bit. I tried to turn this into an IQ point. I wanted to see if there were polls out there that answers the question, what's the bigger betrayal? Dating a sister or dating an ex? Or even sleeping. To me, it's synonymous.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really find polls about this, and like, everybody just has a different opinion. I hopped on Reddit, hopped on Quora and stuff like that. Everybody just has their own different opinion. So I asked AI.
Ooh.
I asked, what does AI say about this? So this is actually going to be the least satisfying thing, because I got two different answers from different AIs. So Google AI says that dating a sister is the bigger betrayal. That is a greater violation since it's the family, and it could cause a much greater, profound, and often permanent harm. But then I hopped on Chat GPT, and it said the exact opposite, that dating an ex is a bigger betrayal.
So
I don't have an answer.
Gemini dated GBT's ex, and GBT dated Gemini's sister. I see it now.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. I feel like people are individuals, and if you're not dating them, they get to make their own choices, and you deal with your emotions, and if you don't like it, then maybe there's something you're doing with yourself that you should do to improve and feel better, that you can't choose what they do. Although I can see Gemini's things, that if it's a bad breakup, it's going to cause stress on you to choose between your sibling and your friend.
Well, let us know what you think out there. Send us an email, write something in the comments on YouTube. Let us know what you think. What is the bigger betrayal? Dating a sister or an ex?
Have any fun stories? Share them.
Share it. Shoot us an email and we could read it anonymously if you ask us to. But that's the end of the episode.
It's the end of the episode.
Yeah, so before we get to the vanity card, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I love this ending because usually we are left on cliffhangers. I mean, we get season, was it 1 or 2, where he gives her the snowflake and then goes to Alaska. And it's like this romance.
He gave her the snowflake when he got back.
When he got back, there,
he does go to Antarctica or
Alaska, northern Alaska's northern circle, right?
That's right.
Arctic Circle. There we go. And like we're wanting them to be together, but like at this point we want them to get together. But at this time, it's like we got Howard, we got Sheldon, and Amy, we got Raj and his romantic issues wanting Bernadette. We have Priya and Leonard wanting to be with Priya, and then like there is so much tension here that it's amazing writing. That story is just phenomenal. That all this has worked out together. I don't know how I see it going. I assume they get together. I'm going to assume that Priya is going to move away. Leonard is going to feel hurt. And Penny is going to break down, probably not in the first episode, but halfway through, saying, don't you know the only reason I did that is because I miss you? Something like that. I'm guessing here, but that's probably how my brain's working it out.
For all the listeners out there, don't forget, Ryan has never seen this series before, so he has no idea what's about to happen.
I'm curious if Priya's even going to be in next season, because they could play this off where she just moves back and Leonard starts. So if she's in it, and I haven't even watched the next episode, I was tempted to, but I'm like, I want to give my honest opinion before I go in, because I could see her just not returning at all for the next season and being like, oh, she already moved back. But it would be interesting to have her in it and them dealing with that relationship too.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen with Raj?
I think he's going to end up with Bernadette somehow. I don't think this fight is bad enough for Howard and Bernadette to break up, but I think there are some foundational relationship issues that mean that she should break up with him, or they should break up, not just him with him.
All right. Well, when we dive into season 5, you'll find out.
We'll find out.
All right. So moving on to the Vandy card. I got an easy one.
Easy one.
Yep. Chuck Lorre Productions number 347. It is a picture of Chuck Lorre passed out on the couch. Looks like he was working very hard. And it says, thank you for watching The Big Bang Theory. See you next year.
I want to say a couple things. One, he kind of looks like Ted from How I Met Your Mother in the picture. And two, for some reason, the couch and the furniture, it looks like something from like the 80s. Like when I first saw it, I'm like, why do they have something from Married with Children? And I'm like, oh wait, I think that's him passed out.
Yeah, the couch that he's on is very old school, which is funny because to the left of him there's a leather couch there that looks very modern.
That does.
And then to the right of him there's that table, and just the overall design, you're right, it looks very vintage.
And there's some sort of analog clock that you would imagine like an old punch in, punch out clock to look like. So I don't know. It just it didn't look modern, and it took me a second to realize what it was.
I had to look up Chuck Lorre again just to make sure. He's definitely a lot younger, and he didn't get all of his gray hairs.
I'm curious. I'm going to look him up too, just to make sure. Yeah, he doesn't look like Ted, but on that couch, he kind of looks like Ted. Yeah. Because most of his face is covered up, so all you're seeing is like the black hair and like the forehead a little bit.
Yeah. Let's count some points up.
There we go.
6 IQ points.
We got 2 points for not being like Sheldon this episode, and 1 for being like Sheldon, which puts us at a total of 135 to 129.
Not in favor of Sheldon, right?
Yeah. So I am 6 not like Sheldon. And then we'll total those up just for the season when we do our season recap.
All right. Any last minute things on this episode?
I think that's all. What a wonderful finale. It was, I know I have to pick like my favorite episodes and stuff through the season, but this one was just top notch. It's hard to beat this.
I know. Yeah, so stay tuned next episode where we do a season 4 recap. We're going to talk about our favorite moments, best, like what we liked about the storyline, our favorite scenes, our favorite episodes, favorite IQ points. Yeah, and we'll do our favorite Ryan point, or Ryan Sheldon point too.
Ryan points.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thanks again, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Email us at theoreticalnonsensepod@gmail.com. Write us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read your 5-star review out. We like those. And we will see you next time where we discuss the Season 4 recap.
See you then.
See you then. This was Theoretical Nonsense, the Big Bang Theory watch-along podcast. No PhD required. Our intro and outro music is by Alex Pearl. Thanks for listening.
And Ryan's full of methane.
Yeah.